In a big, green, sun-dappled forest, a tiny squirrel named Sammy lived. He was the smallest squirrel in his whole family. But even though he was small, Sammy had the biggest, brightest imagination. One sunny morning, Sammy woke up. He stretched his tiny paws and blinked in the morning light. But then, he saw it, an empty spot where something special should be. He gasped. His favorite golden acorn was missing. "Oh no!" Sammy squeaked, his little voice trembling. "My golden acorn, it's gone." He looked all around his cozy nest, under the leaves, behind a twig. "Nowhere. I must find it," he declared to a curious ladybug crawling nearby. He knew the forest was big and he was very, very small. But Sammy took a deep, shaky breath. He puffed out his chest, and he set off on a brave, grand adventure to find his lost treasure. His first stop was a tall, wise-looking oak tree. There, he met Olive the owl, who was just settling in for a daytime nap. Sammy looked up, his whiskers twitching with worry. "Excuse me, Olive," he called out. "Have you seen my golden acorn?" Olive the owl slowly opened one big, round eye, then the other. She blinked a few times, her head tilting to the side. "Hoot, hoot," she said in her soft, low voice. "A golden acorn, you say? I did see something shiny. It rolled right past my branch. It went that way," she hooted, nodding her head toward the river. "The river." "Thank you, Olive," Sammy chirped. He didn't waste a second. He scampered down the oak tree. He dashed over mossy stones and under giant ferns. He followed the path Olive had shown him, his little heart thumping with hope. Soon, he heard the gentle gurgle of water. He had reached the river. There, by the water's edge, he found Benny the beaver. Benny was busy, patting mud and weaving sticks into his dam. Splash, whack, pat. "Hi, Benny," Sammy called out over the noise. Benny stopped his work and looked up, a friendly grin on his face. "Well, hello there, Sammy." Sammy hurried closer, hopping from one pebble to another. "Did a shiny, golden acorn come this way?" he asked, out of breath. Benny the beaver tapped his big flat tail on the wet ground. He nodded his head enthusiastically. "Yup, sure did," Benny said. "A real shiny one. Saw it with my own two eyes. It floated right past me, bobbing in the water like a little boat. It got carried by the current and got stuck over there." Benny pointed with a wet paw. "Over in the tall grass meadow, the meadow." "Oh, thank you, Benny," Sammy shouted with glee. With a happy wave, Sammy turned and hurried toward the meadow. The tall grass meadow was enormous. The grass swayed high above Sammy's head, like a green ocean. It whispered and rustled in the gentle wind. Sammy stood at the edge and gulped. It looked a little scary, but he thought of his beautiful golden acorn. He took a small step, then another. He tiptoed inside, the tall blades of grass tickling his nose. Everything was quiet, except for the soft swoosh of the grass. Suddenly he heard a sound. Rustle, rustle. Something was moving nearby. Sammy froze, his ears perked up. Then, out from behind a giant blade of grass, a friendly face appeared. Out popped Tilly the tortoise, and in her gentle grasp, she was holding Sammy's golden acorn. Tilly smiled a slow, kind smile. "Hello there, little one. I found this rolling by," she said in a warm voice. "Is it yours?" Sammy's eyes grew wide and sparkled with joy. He couldn't believe it. "Yes, yes, it is," he squeaked with happiness. "That's my golden acorn." He ran to Tilly and hugged his precious acorn tight. It felt cool and smooth and perfect. "Thank you, thank you, thank you," he said, looking up at the kind tortoise. Tilly chuckled softly. "You're very welcome," she said. "You're a very brave little squirrel to come all this way by yourself." Sammy looked down at his paws, then back at his acorn. He thought about his long journey. He had talked to an owl. He had visited a beaver at the river. He had walked into the big, tall meadow all alone. A proud smile spread across his face. Sammy beamed. "I may be small," he said, his voice full of newfound confidence. "But I can still do big, brave things." And from that day on, Sammy the squirrel was never just the smallest. He was Sammy the brave. Whenever he felt a little scared or a little too small, he remembered his grand adventure to find his lost acorn, and he would feel brave all over again. The end.